A very good day to you. You know why I love the Lord so much? Because He is no respecter of persons. He has got no partiality. He will use ordinary people, that's right, just like you and me, to do His work. The only thing He requires from us is obedience. If you go to the book of Acts chapter 10 and verse 34, then you'll see that the writer says, "Then Peter opened his mouth and said, 'In truth, I perceive that God shows no partiality.'" You know, my wife Jill has always said that. I used to say when I was a new Christian, no, God's got favorites. But He hasn't, you know. God is a respecter of no man. He uses just ordinary people and He makes them supernatural people. You know, that movie, Ordinary People, really touched my life so deeply. And the main reason was it's all about ordinary people just like you and me. Those three stories are absolutely true, folks. That hijacker that tried to hijack those two men coming to the Mighty Men Conference, the last one here in 2010, Lucky Nzimande, he's a real character. He is, the last I heard, that he's in Guguletu, in that huge township outside Cape Town, and he's preaching the gospel. Then there's the other man who went home on the Saturday night because God touched him so deeply. He didn't even wait for the last service on the Sunday morning. And he had his big road bike and hit a pothole. In the movie, of course, he hits a trailer, but he actually hit a pothole. And his bike flipped and he broke his neck, I think, and he died. But you know, as a result of that, I've met his family and they've come so much closer to Jesus Christ. Unless a grain of wheat falls to the ground and dies, it abides alone. But if it dies, it produces much grain. Isn't that right? John chapter 12, verse 24. And then, of course, the third story, which was also so powerful and so pertinent to these times in which we are living. A father and a son just kept missing each other all the time. Maybe you're there yourself. But I want to tell you that it was only when Dad and his son came to repentance together at the same meeting in public that God did a sovereign work. I've met that family as well. I want to tell you, folks, there's nothing too hard. There's nothing too soft or too easy for Jesus not to undertake for. And we need to understand that. He's not just the God of the famous and the God of the prophets and the great preachers. He's the God of the housewife, the house mother, the working man, the schoolboy, the schoolgirl, and He's interested in you. And I always say that success is just failure turned inside out. You know, if we look at Saul of Tarsus, who then became Paul, who wrote 2/3 of this book of the New Testament, he was a loser. He was on the wrong road. He was doing the wrong thing, thinking that he was doing the right thing. And then, of course, he met with the Lord in a dramatic way. And he set the pace for all the rest of the disciples. He went out into the world as it was known then, and he preached the gospel in all those countries. Folks, if we look at Peter, the big fisherman, he was a blasphemer. And I mean, he messed up every time. He denied the Lord after promising the Lord he wouldn't. And yet God still used him. And he died as a martyr for the Lord. And he was the head of the church as it was then. So there's hope for you and me. Don't be too hard on yourself. Don't let the devil, he's the accuser of the brethren. It's nobody else. It's the devil himself. He is a liar and a thief. So when you watch that movie next time, just remember that God is no respecter of persons. Okay? He will use whoever. He'll use me and He'll use you. All we're going to do is put our hand up and say, Lord, I'm available. Until next time, God bless. Goodbye.